We're in Australia's capital city as a group of Chinese international students gathers at Parliament House.
It's the first time here. It's quite impressive. You can see that the grand house there. I probably have to see what's inside first.
Let's go and discover.
They've all been selected for the prestigious Stephen FitzGerald Scholars Program, hosted by the Australia-National University and supported by the National Foundation for Australia-China Relations.
So here we are inside Parliament House. It's a really unique program, and it brings together all of the best Chinese foreign students studying in Australia that are reaching the end of their academic studying in Australia, and really it seeks to show them some sort of deeper aspects, I suppose, about Australia.
That includes watching democracy in action during parliamentary question time.
I'm pleased to inform the House that present in the gallery today is participants of the Stephen FitzGerald Scholars Program. A warm welcome to you all.
Such a prestigious program and such a privilege to be here. And as a Chinese student in Australia, it's great to have this opportunity to know more about Australia, to learn how the system works and get to be in some places that you can never be in on yourself.
Such as the personal courtyard of the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Milton Dick.
How would you compare Australian legislature with that in the UK and the US?
We have a Westminster system similar to the United Kingdom. The United States obviously has a direct election model for their president, and the arms of the executive do not serve in government. They're appointed by the president.
I didn't expect this. So in the beginning, I thought that we were just going to be the visitors, the tourists that come here and visit some of the really important sites here in Australia. But we actually participated in the program. We actually participated in the Parliament House. So yeah, we're part of it. That makes it amazing.
Dinner was no less amazing, as the delegates rubbed shoulders with a Nobel laureate, ANU's former Vice-Chancellor, Professor Brian Schmidt.
You have been chosen by your Vice-Chancellors. So I wrote to each Vice-Chancellor and said, send me your best. You're an outstanding group of scholars.
And it's no accident the program is named after another outstanding scholar.
This is when I'm shaking hands with Chairman Mao. What he said when he shook hands with me is, you are a great scholar.
Dr. Stephen FitzGerald was just 34 when he was appointed by Gough Whitlam as Australia's first ambassador to the People's Republic of China.
And here, Deng Xiaoping, the Foreign Minister, Deepen. I was one of the few people in Australia at that time who could speak and read Chinese. And I had done research on China, so it wasn't just speaking and reading the language. I'd had to go deep into modern and contemporary Chinese history to write a thesis about China. This is when Gough came as Prime Minister. So with my appointment, Whitlam was absolutely determined. He loved expertise.
Dr. FitzGerald is now in his 80s and says it's a great honour to have younger generations learning about his legacy.
It was very pleasing because I saw it as a tribute to the whole idea that I was espousing of coming closer to Asia.
Across 3 days, the scholars visited some of Australia's national institutions.
We have very different systems of government, and it's very important that we understand each other. And I'm going to talk to you about the relationship between the High Court on the one hand and the other branches of government, because the Attorney General sort of is the person who sits between the two.
And they even went stargazing with First Nations astronomer Peter Swanton, who shared stories of Indigenous legend.
We've been doing astronomy here on these lands for over 65,000 years.
One such story speaks of a man, one of the first on Earth, who was desperate for food but refused to kill a passing wallaby.
And he fell at the base of the yaram, the red gum tree. and there was a spirit that lived within the tree. And he saw that the man had done the right thing, that he hadn't eaten his totem. So he opened up the trunk of the tree, and he took in the man's body, and he took the tree up into the sky. And as the tree faded into the background, all that were left were the eyes of the spirit and the eyes of the man, which make up the 4 main stars of the Southern Cross constellation.
The first time I saw the galaxy was in Tasmania, in a very remote place without any artificial lights. Just basically raise up your head and the galaxy is right above you. At that moment, I really feeling the weakness of human being in such a huge universe. It's a philosopher moment for me.
It's been really great to watch them learning about these great Australian institutions and looking at our art and culture. The enthusiasm has been palpable, but it's also been great to see them interacting with each other. And I think that's one of the objectives of the program as well, to establish a community of people who have this deeper understanding of Australia and perhaps a greater affection for Australia, and who've then become part of an alumni community that can act as mentors for future generations of students and future scholars.
My message to these young scholars, I hope that through this program they develop a kind of Australia literacy and the kind of relationships that will stand us in good stead as we go through the next couple of decades.